Today I'd like to talk about the fact that banks are starting to get involved in cryptocurrencies in a big way. Now, they're not getting involved in cryptocurrencies the way that we typically would see them involved in cryptocurrencies. You know, you think of Bitcoin, you think of how I can exchange money. Well, that's not the kind of cryptocurrency that we're talking about. The story at hand is about JPMorgan Chase Bank. You know, in fact, in 2017, Jamie Dimon, who's the head of JPMorgan Chase, called Bitcoin a fraud. He says it's not a real thing. Eventually, it'll be closed.
I could care less what Bitcoin trades for, how it trades, why it trades, who trades it. If you're stupid enough to buy it, you'll pay the price for it one day.
Okay, so he didn't have much value in it. He also said in October last year that Bitcoin was worthless. But he basically said that if his customers want to buy it, we'll facilitate the ability to buy it safely. But, you know, they're basically fools. You know, he didn't use those exact words, but at the same time, he obviously did not have anything but disdain for Bitcoin. But the challenge is, though, that he hates cryptocurrencies, but at the same time loves blockchain technology. So he says there are many uses for where a blockchain can replace or improve contracts, data ownership, and other enhancements. At the time he made that statement, he felt that it was too slow and too expensive to be able to actually deploy it. But he goes on then and participates in a pilot for a digital asset and decentralized finance exchange. He first sent out a letter to all of his shareholders, and he basically said in that shareholder letter, he said, decentralized finance and blockchain are real. New technologies can be deployed in both public and private fashion, permissioned or not. So he wrote that to his shareholders with the idea that blockchain being a digital public ledger that records cryptocurrency transactions can also store other information. It powers cryptos like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay, so that's what he said also. He says, along with decentralized applications or DeFi platforms. So he gets involved with a pilot of a new program from Singapore. Now, the Singapore Monetary Authority of Singapore announced just the other day on November 2nd that they ran their first industry pilot of a project they called Project Guardian. It explores the potential of decentralized finance applications in wholesale funding and transactions with live trades. You know, more industry pilots will be done, but the significance of this one is that JPMorgan actually completed a trade that was of substantial size. JPMorgan just executed its first cross-border transaction using decentralized finance or DeFi on a public blockchain. So the article says. He says, JPMorgan issued a tokenized Singapore dollar of $100,000, $71,000 if it's in US currency, and then traded it for tokenized yen on the other side with Tokyo-based bank firm SBI Digital Asset Holdings. Okay, so here we go. What happened was that they transferred money from Chase Bank, you know, JPMorgan Chase Bank, transferred it to a Japanese bank. It was their Singapore branch, so they transferred Singapore dollars. They tokenized the dollars, which means they bought tokens on what they call the Polygon blockchain, which is a part of Ethereum, the Ethereum blockchain. They bought those tokens and then transferred those tokens to a Japanese bank on the other, you know, in another continent across borders. And then those tokens were traded in for yen. Okay, so what does SWIFT do? SWIFT enables cross-border transactions to be completed. Maybe this is going to compete with SWIFT. Maybe JPMorgan Chase got a little tired of dealing with SWIFT codes and the archaic 1970s technology that SWIFT employs. Maybe they're looking for an end around SWIFT so that they can transfer without restrictions or without having to go through that one more intermediary. Who knows exactly what the impact of this one's going to be. But we'll watch as larger banks also jump on this bandwagon and begin to trade not just in regular bank-to-bank transactions like we're used to seeing, where the costs add up as every intermediary takes their little chunk, and then smooths those trades out by just buying tokens on a blockchain, transferring the tokens, and cashing in those tokens at the receiving bank. That's kind of the way, distributed finance is supposed to work, isn't it? If you like what you heard in this video, please hit the like button so we can get it out to more people. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already, and we'll look forward to seeing you again. Thanks.